Welcome, everyone, to a call for judgment. I wanted to cover this story from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in regards to mandating emergency braking system on nearly all vehicles. Now, a lot of dumbed down people will hear this, and of course they'll think that this is great. Now, we should really be questioning why we actually would need automated braking systems on our cars. Why are people so dumb that they actually need a computer to brake for them? Why are they texting and driving, all these things? But we've gotten to a point where we have a lazy, weak, stupid society that they've made narcissistic, so they believe that they're actually smarter than people hundreds of years ago. That's how crazy this is. They can't even wipe their own rear end or, make a piece of toast, but they actually believe that stuff like this is great, when in reality it's scary, and it's a testament to how stupid our society has become. Now, I'm covering this because this is how they slowly wean into taking control of everything in your life. And if you want them to have control over your car, you're out of your mind. I've shown dozens of times the electric vehicles, what happens even with the electric self-driving vehicles that crash, that drive into medians, that drive off roads, that kill people, that kill other drivers who are just trying to drive normally, and defensive driving. They can't even do it because the automated car is swerving, driving, doing whatever it wants. But they continue to tell us that technology's advanced so much, it's smarter than we are, and now we need cars that'll automatically brake. Except, of course, when someone like me is behind the wheel, it'll go 65 miles an hour probably if I was ever in one of these. And again, this doesn't have to be an electric vehicle, so that's what's scary about it. But, if I was going 65 miles an hour, it would probably automatically brake on a dime, and I probably, even with a seatbelt, would go through the windshield. But again, oopsie daisy, it's just a glitch. Nobody's responsible. It's better to have the automated than the non, because God forbid people actually use their own brain and learn how to drive and actually pay attention on the road. So take a look at the automated emergency braking systems that they're attempting to mandate.
A new push to make cars safer. Government officials want all new cars to come with auto braking systems.
It's technology that would allow the cars to brake on their own. As Tom Costello reports, officials hope it would prevent deaths and injuries.
It happens 117 times a day. Someone dies on America's roads. Now the government hopes to save at least 360 lives and 24,000 injuries each year by requiring automatic emergency braking systems in all new cars and light trucks.
It's going to save lives. Make sure that there won't be that empty chair at the dinner table.
90% of new cars already come with automatic braking that slams on the brakes when a car gets too close. A AAA study found it prevents 85% of rear-end crashes under 30 miles per hour. But at 40 miles per hour, just 30% of crashes were prevented. And the systems completely failed to prevent T-bone or left turn collisions. The new government regulation would require brakes to work at up to 62 miles per hour and prevent hitting pedestrians even at night.
EMS showed up. Had to resuscitate me.
In 2021, Benjamin Gates suffered a brain injury after being run over in a crosswalk. An acclaimed cello player, he still struggles to remember the notes.
It's been a long process. It's been a journey.
The auto industry says nearly all new cars will voluntarily have AEB by 2025. But even better systems could be government required within 3 years. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
So again, it starts with things like this. Now, somebody on the website actually had posted something that the NHTSA was talking about as well, which was mandating breathalyzer tests, which is another thing that people will be like, that's great because we don't need drunk drivers on the road and things like that. And obviously it's hard to argue with somebody about that because we don't need drunk drivers on the road. However, when you start giving all your rights and freedoms over to machines, there's a problem. Right? There's a problem because it starts with, oh, there's a breathalyzer and, your car won't turn on if you don't pass the breathalyzer. Oh, okay. And then what? Your car won't turn on because you've given control of your car to the government when you disagree with the government, or you speak out against the government, or you talk online against the government, or you don't pay your taxes, or you name it, or your carbon footprint's expired for the month, which is your allowance on how far you're allowed to drive, all these things that we're giving our government control over. So these are mind control tactics that they use to normalize the giving up of freedoms. Everyone hears it and they go, oh my goodness, we can save, 100 lives a year by having automatic brakes, and if you think about it, it's just like, I mean, the car accidents and things happen all the time because of drunk drivers, because of texting drivers, who I believe are the most dangerous people on the road, are people who are texting. Anytime you drive, you can see these people. They're swerving in and out like they're on some type of drug. And all you have to do is look over at a glance if you're the passenger in your car when you go by somebody, and you'll see the driver usually looking down at their crotch because they're texting, right? But, they don't care about that kind of stuff. They just want to slowly, little by little, take control of our lives. And again, tell you that it's to protect you on the road instead of actually training and teaching people how to properly drive, and not giving out licenses to people who don't know how to drive, which is the majority of, which age group out there, who are just horrible drivers, who text and drive nonstop, who, like I covered in that video on the electric vehicle, literally want to play Jenga when they're driving their car instead of actually have their hands on the wheel because they're that dumbed down and that lazy. So the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has proposed a rule that will require automatic emergency braking systems on nearly all U.S. cars and light trucks. The proposal could save at least 360 lives a year and reduce injuries by at least 24,000 people annually. And again, that's not even a large number of people, 360, right? But they always use these types of things to convince you, oh, we care so much about you. Come and get your freebie at the local CVS or Walgreens, and you know what I'm talking about. Oh, we care so much about certain things. They seem to care, right? They aren't going to give you free antibiotics or free something that, free food. They're not going to give you stuff like free. No, but they will give you free things that they want you to have. And they will care about your life and tell you they care about your life and tell you that they can save lives if you give your rights to them. And again, that's what this is about. It's about saying, okay, now I own a vehicle that has automatic brakes, which means my car could just brake on its own. Don't worry about who's responsible, because I'm sure in the paperwork when you buy the car, it says that, well, no one's responsible and no one's held liable for it. So people out there are just like, well, you're just a conspiracy nut. Oh, as if the government's going to take control of your car and they're going to slam the brakes and fly you through the windshield. Oh, okay, yeah, you're a crazy conspiracy. That's the mindset of these people out there who continue to submit and give up their rights. They get an Alexa. They get the Alexa or the Ring, right? And they're just like, cool, now, no one's going to come break into my house because I have a Ring. I have the Alexa, so I could listen to whatever music I want. Then stories come out after that. What stories? Well, stories I cover. And what were those stories about? Well, for starters, how the Ring automatically sends all the data to the police. So the police are watching your camera, and then they go, interesting. Or a story about how the Alexa was recording. But thanks to the Alexa, they stopped a crime from happening because it was listening and it called the police for you. So instead of being like, whoa, why is the Alexa recording and listening? People just go, wow, that's great. The Alexa saved my life. Oh my goodness, the Ring saw somebody come to my door and pick up my Amazon package and steal it, and we were able to follow him and monitor him. This is great. Instead of going, wait a minute, I bought this thing so that I could monitor my door. I didn't know I was giving the police access to my home, to my front door. I didn't know that by having these cameras in my house, I was giving the police access to them. I didn't know by having the Alexa in my house, I didn't know it was going to listen to me. And little by little, you give up your rights. You give up your rights and you give it up to what you believe is technology, but there's really the man behind the curtain, right? All this information isn't just going into a computer. It's being reviewed by human beings at the NSA and all these other places where they're literally sitting there and being paid on our tax money to spy on us. And that's, of course, goes back to the Patriot Act and everything else. So they say the proposal will save 360 lives a year if adopted vehicles will be required to have AEB technology 3 years after the publication of a final rule. These AEB systems would result in significant reductions in property damage caused by rear-end crashes. Many crashes would be avoidable altogether, while others would be less destructive, right? And again, I love how they show these things and they don't ever mention the danger stories out there about how they malfunction, how they catch fire, right? They're telling everyone we need to go electric, and they never cover how many of these electric vehicles explode, ever. They're just like, it's good for the environment. If people knew, like there's no chance of you being in a regular car, really, of it exploding out of nowhere. I mean, could it happen? I guess so, but the odds are pretty slim. Compared to a lithium battery vehicle, they explode all the time. They catch fire all the time. Google it. I mean, you'll see a montage of these things. People make montage videos of the explosions. I did recently. I put one in a video. So the proposed rule is part of the U.S. Department of Transportation's National roadway safety strategy, which launched in January of 2022 to address traffic deaths and injuries. Just as life-saving innovations from previous generations like seatbelts, they're comparing it to a seatbelt, and airbags have helped improve safety, requiring automatic emergency braking on cars and trucks would keep all of us safer on our roads. Right, again, until it malfunctions and you go through your windshield or you have whiplash. But again, people, even if you want to take the part out of it of the government, let's just take that part out, right? The government is now, taking control of our people like us, our cars, and, slamming on the brakes and things like that. Who's trusting in this software, right? Just in general, that it wouldn't malfunction or that it wouldn't do something to the brakes, making it where you can't use your brakes. It automatically locks the brakes or unlock, you know what I mean? Nobody wants this, except, of course, for people who, are more interested in texting, and they're like, oh, who cares then? I can have my foot in the gas and not pay attention. And I mean, you'll see that stuff happen too. I guarantee it'll be trending on YouTube and TikTok. People not paying attention, foot on the gas, and then letting the car do the automatic brakes, and then they go flying and the airbag comes out, and then they're like, wasn't that cool? And it trends on YouTube, and then all these idiots follow it, and they make the roads even more dangerous, but they'll never tell you that. They'll just continue to glorify it as long as the government can have control over your vehicle and over your life. So the AEB systems use sensor technology to detect when a vehicle is close to crashing. When the vehicle is close to an object or person, it automatically applies the brakes, even if the driver hasn't done so. Oh, okay. And what if a bird flies down and you're going 70 miles an hour? What if there's a tire on the side of the road, right? Someone has a blow up. There's a tire debris on the side of the road. Oh, there's no way that the thing's going to detect it and slam the brakes, right? And on top of that, a human being needs to be, this gives people more leniency to not pay attention. They'll be like, oh, who cares? The car will stop anyway. When, if you see traffic coming up, you should slow down. You're not going to drive up to it and slam your brakes. Well, this thing is going to slam the brakes. So then probably the person behind that person is going to slam into that person. And it's just going to go on and on and on. So I said we see the benefits of the AEB system in some passenger vehicles already, even at lower speeds. And we want to expand the use of the technology to save even more lives. Of course, that's not true. These people want to do whatever they can to ruin and control lives. And of course, this is what we've seen recently with what they've tried to do to people's lives. So they said they've seen the benefits of it. The rule would require all cars to be able to stop to avoid contact with another vehicle or person up to 62 miles per hour, which is pretty freaking fast. So whatever, they say 62. It'll eventually be working at 80. 62 is fast. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a grandpa, but I mean, that's fast for a car to slam on its brakes. So this, again, they market these things as a way to protect us. They market these things as something that's beneficial for society. They market these things to save lives over and over and over. And these suckers believe it. Instead of saying, hey, maybe we should change the curriculum on the driving, right? For people getting their license. Instead of doing these ridiculous things around cones and things like that, we need to do more vigorous testing so that people can actually learn how to drive, right? We should put more laws in place about texting and driving to stop people from texting and driving, because a lot of rear-end accidents happen because people are texting and drive, but they want you to text and drive, right? So instead they say, hey, keep texting and driving. We'll take control from here. Just let us take control of the wheel and the brakes and everything else, right? The next thing you know, let us take control of your home, and let's take control of your children. Let us take control of your wife in the bedroom and your husband in the bed. Let us. Don't worry about it. Don't be a conspiracy theorist. And these people will continue texting away. So this is what they want to do. These are the ways that they're going to do it. They're going to manipulate people into thinking it's what's best for them, that it's new technology, that it's technology that's going to save lives, that technology is advancing, that we need to all be on board. And if we're not, we're stuck in the Stone Ages. When in reality, we have dumber and dumber people that are being bred by this government deliberately so that they can implement more of this technology, which gives them more control. That's what it's about. I thank everyone for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you, as always, and your families.